I have been in the dark for quite some time now with JT, and it's sadly, especially considering that was my best friend. So, I just kind of have to let him do his thing at this point. I can't protect him anymore.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time to talk with me today about Southern Charm season 10. How you feeling going into season 10?
I'm excited. It's crazy to think that this show has been on for 10 years, and out of the 10 years, I've been on it for 4 years, which is very wild to say out loud. So I'm excited, I mean, I think this season is going to be one that takes the cake for sure.
Yeah, there is a lot going on this season. I want to get into all of it. But first, let's just check in with you because a lot has changed with you since season 9. You're going into season 10, a single woman. How have you been navigating the singleness and your breakup? How was that?
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But it was one of those decisions that when you love someone and you want to see them do better, you kind of have to just let them go. And I know it sounds so cliche to say, but I would prefer to see him do better. So I had to and I felt like I was holding him back. So I just kind of had to like, say my goodbyes.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I haven't been single in quite some time, so it's gonna be an interesting, it's gonna be an interesting season to watch unfold for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so much has changed with dating in that time
Yeah.
period. Did you feel like you were kind of getting back into it? Like, oh my God, what is going on?
Um, yeah, it was definitely weird. I feel like, when you go from dating your best friend to trying to just put yourself out there into the world, it's like jarring, and I don't think I was expecting it to be as jarring as it was. One day at a time, as I definitely need a learning curve.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a whole different ball game, and especially we see in the trailer,
Yeah.
it's a different ball game when you start to be kind of maybe interested in someone who was more or who was just a friend before.
Yeah.
What are we gonna see with you and JT moving forward this season?
Definitely see our friendship blossom.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes more than not, it might lean into a little bit more of a friendship.
Mhm.
And it was kind of nice, to like someone and they like you back and you're just kind of like, okay, like we're doing this or maybe we're not doing this or like, you're just kind of playing the game, and I
Yeah.
feel like I haven't played the game in such a long time. It was nice to just do that and have the guys back and the girls back. Thank God,
Yeah.
because that was a tough one.
Yeah, I have
Tough
heard a
one.
little bit about that. I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But what was it that kind of like made you realize that maybe you and JT were a little bit more than just pals?
I feel like it kind of just naturally happened. There was not like one moment in particular, that kind of made me go, oh, wow, like this is someone I actually like. It just kind of naturally happened, which they always say is the best way to have that type of thing happen. So I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, let's see where this goes. Let's see what happens with this. But it's so crazy to think this time last year we were doing Watch What Happens Live together, and that was the first time I had like brought him around my friends and my team, and like I
Mhm.
had dinner with his mom, and that was like a really nice moment. And I was just like, oh yeah, like this is fun. Like I think I at that time I was like, okay, this is like a really good friend to have. But like as the time progressed, as you will see as the season comes out, that it was just more of like a okay, there's something else here. Let's see if we're gonna do something about it, work, try it, or like let it be.
Was that daunting at all? Because I know sometimes with friendships, you're like, oh, do we cross that line?
Yeah, it was. And I think it was more so daunting for me because the group has their qualms about JT. And I not would, I was risking a lot of friendships in order to say, hey, like, I want to have him around. Let's invite him. Let's make sure he's included. So that was tough. But from that standpoint of like JT and myself, no, that wasn't as daunting as I thought it would be.
Well, I was gonna ask about the friendship aspect of it because I feel like JT last season, Austin was his enemy, but other than that, like good vibes. This season, I hear that it's a bit more of a contentious relationship with the group. So,
Yeah.
what can you tell me about what's happening there and how it impacted your friendships?
Uh, you know, it made people question. my trust that I had with them,
Mhm.
because I've been building these friendships with everyone else in the group for quite some time, and then JT comes around and it's like he's only been in the group for 2 years.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, oh yeah, guys, like we should side with him. Like he's fine. Like he's not crazy. He's not this, he's not that. So it definitely put a bit of a strain on some of the friendships in the group for sure.
Mhm.
But I'm thankful that everyone was willing to be patient with me and like give me the opportunity to speak on it and not just straight out say, hey, we're not dealing with you because you're dealing with that.
So you feel like you had like the history, the gravitas with people, but they were like, okay, let's hear her out.
Yeah, they were like, let's hear her out. And they were like, if she likes him, we like him. Like, we support her first. We love her first. So if this is what she wants to do, it might not be our favorite thing, but we're going to still support her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see how that plays out, but I'm also a little nervous. I mean, we see that JT dropped out like before filming even ended. Was that something that surprised you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just straight, yes. And I had no idea. And as his best friend, I feel like I'm usually in the know on these things. And, I've kind of been, not kind of, I've been in the dark since the trailer dropped at this point. So I have no idea where his head is, what he's doing, what he's trying to do. And I wish him the best.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like that was like a good decision, or are you like, come on, make it to the reunion?
I don't think that's a good decision.
Yeah.
And he has always been kind of weary of like what to do with the group, what to do with the certain things that people are saying about him. And I've always been kind of like the person in the background telling him, hey, like you got to show up. Don't let them win. Don't let them take it over. Don't let them think they have control. And I think at this point, he let those thoughts take control and he lost it.
Oh, I mean, that's tough to see. And I know
Mhm.
that he was also, facing a lot of backlash online because we get the trailer, we get the little flirt mance going on with you guys, and then we see him drop on Instagram this new relationship. Was that a surprise to you, or was that something you had moved past? Like, where were your thoughts when that happened?
That was quite the surprise.
That was a surprise to you
I was
too.
quite the
Okay.
surprise. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have been in the dark for quite some time now with JT, and it's sadly,
Mhm.
especially considering that was my best friend. So, I just kind of had to let him do his thing at this point. I can't protect him anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
know people in the comments were being like, well, was the thing with Venita real? Was he putting it on? There's someone saying they were dating at the time. How's that impacted you? And do you have any response to that?
I am also the people in the comments.
You're also in there. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what was going on here? But
Yeah.
sometimes you got to let people fight their own battles, and I have to take my hands off the gas and stop trying to protect him as I have been doing for the last 2 years. He no longer wants the protection, and you got it. He's a big
So
boy.
that friendship is, where are you at with that?
One day at a time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was it for you? I mean, you're coming out of a breakup, you're in your single era, and this is kind of your first foray into dating, and it turns out to be pretty messy. How was that for you and your mental health?
I think I'm gonna take a break for quite some time.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm gonna pump the brakes, spend a little more
Yeah.
time with Charles, spend a little time with my mom, just take my time. I'm a
Yeah.
lover girl, so I'm just like, oh yeah, like whatever, it's fine. You can work through anything. But there's just some things I'm just like, okay, let's pump the brakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Take some
Just a
time to
moment.
focus on you.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any regrets with that situation? Are you like, I was above board with everything. I'm good with what I did?
No, I was like, do I have any regrets? But no, I don't have any regrets because
Mhm.
I was having a good time with my best friend who we were trying to figure out, okay, do we take this one step further? Do we not? Like,
Mhm.
and it was just fun and playful. And I really feel like JT was one of the only people on the cast besides Madison and Leva that really could pull me fully out of my shell when it came to
Yeah.
being around this group. And I had a lot of fun filming with him and we had a lot of fun together. So no, I don't regret anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm sad to see that. I mean, it's tough to see a friendship like that kind of take a pause or go by the wayside. Do you have any hope in the future that maybe you'll be able to repair things with them?
It'll never be what it was.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, And yeah, that's just, it'll never be what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of complicated relationships and friendships going on this season, especially with the women, which is always, I'm like, oh, I want us to all band together and have like a
Yeah,
Spice Girls moment. But it's, of course, there's always drama.
we
What can you
almost
tease a
got
little
it.
bit there? Yeah, right. Almost so close. What's
We
going
almost
on?
we almost got it. There's going to be a newbie named Sally who's going to come in and shake it up a little bit, which is fun. Sally and I have actually become quite close since filming is wrapped, which is nice. And she comes in heavy, hot and heavy.
So you guys are close since filming has wrapped. Was it a
Yeah.
little bit of a different story while filming was going on?
Yeah, I was kind of like hesitant. I was like, "Oh, who's this new girl? Like, what is she doing?" Like, she walked in. She was so like confident. She walked in. She was like, "Well, like Taylor and I are friends because I dated Shep and I also dated Gaston." And it's just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." Um, but at the time, I was a little weary of her. You know.
Yeah.
Now we're
I talked to Taylor and she was like, maybe this is coming from a place of jealousy on Sally's part. Is that how you were interpreting it as an outsider, or were you just like, what is going on?
I was more so like, what is going on? Like, how did we get here? Where did we find her? And like, out of all the people, how is she connected so many different ways with this group already, you know?
Yeah, it's a tangled web, that group, right? Well, we have Molly coming into Ryan. What did you think of those newbies?
Okay, so love Molly. I have known Molly, dang, I've known Molly since, I don't know, like my early 20s.
Mhm.
And I've known Ryan since he moved to Charleston. I was actually, which he told me the other day, I was one of his first friends when he moved to Charleston. So that was so nice
Oh,
to hear. Yeah. So I've known them for quite some time and I really love them. I think Molly is going to bring the comedic relief for sure. And Ryan, he's going to stir it up a little bit. He's definitely going to shake it up with both the guys and the girls. And it's going to be fun to see him play another side of the game, you know?
yeah. I mean, it kind of feels like the group is going to have a dynamic shift this season, both with the new people and just with some friendships. How did that feel as part of the group? Did you notice that shift happening?
No, I was gonna say yeah, I did, but no, I actually didn't notice it. And when I did know, I didn't notice it initially. And when I did notice it, it was kind of like, oh, what is happening here? Like now we have people kind of like when JT first came in. He came in and he shook the guys all the way up last year. And Ryan and Molly and Sally came in and Sally shook up the girls. Well, shook up Taylor, which
Yeah.
then led to shaking up the girls.
Yeah.
And then Ryan kind of came in and he was playing both sides. He was like hanging out with the girls, but then he would say some things to the guys about what we said. And it was just, I don't know. I don't think anyone was ready for it.
Messy, messy.
Yeah.
It's going to
Mhm.
be an interesting season. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to watching back? Like anything that was really fun to film or anything that you're just like, I want to see that on camera?
Oh God. So I took a hiatus from drinking this
Mhm.
season, but I substituted that with CBD drinks. And there
Oh,
is a
fun.
moment this season where we are having a party and the CBD takes over. And it was so fun though. And I remember it and it was just very fun. I was very relaxed. I was just having a good time with my friends, but I will be so thrilled to see that play back for sure.
We're going to meet a new side of you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to let me know about the season before I let you go?
Um, I don't know which ride was wilder, last season's or this season, so buckle up.
Oh, I consider me buckled. I'm
Yeah.
ready. It seems like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait till the premiere. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time,
you.
and I really appreciate it.